Good evening. Charles Van Morgan, Nightly News, Unbridled, live. So yeah, a little bit early for us, but we're out here in Tennessee trying to keep it secret where I'm at because the governor's boys evidently don't like me and they don't like freedom of speech. But we're out here passing out flyers and doing some stuff about the news. The legislature in Tennessee is trying to regulate hemp, which is going to put a lot of businesses out of business. That's about 90% of their business, they claim. And the state legislature in Tennessee and the governor's office wants to regulate everything. They want to have full control of all our lives. They're even putting up cameras in cities that know where you're going and everything without any kind of limits on us, violating our Fourth Amendment rights, using it for stuff that they shouldn't be using it for. So we're passing out flyers, as you can see here. Put this one in a newspaper mailbox, and we dropped some here, excuse me, but yeah. So they're trying to control everything, and the government's trying to control everything, and it's getting worse and worse. So we need to contest this rogue governmental control that's completely out of hand. So one of the things about the government is they are like I said, trying to take away our rights, our First Amendment rights, invading our privacy, and we need to fight them. We need to fight them with power to you, the people. The people that they have in public office now are people that they've chosen to elect, that they've put in public office with fake lies about them, setting them up to be heroes when they're not. So we need to fight them with power to you, the people, and that's what I'm doing right now. Actively handing out flyers to fight them, because we're not on the mainstream news. They won't put us on the news. I've asked several times, and I got a comment in one of my videos the other day about stolen valor allegation of now Major Stacey Heatherly. And after I complained, they promoted her. And I wrote the news channel. Somebody asked me to comment, have I notified the news? And I have notified the news. Notified. And they're not interested in it. So they're not going to report anything bad about their buddies. NBC, CBS, News Network, CNN, all those news channels. They're not going to report anything, so I'm out of flyers. I've handed them all out. They're not going to report anything derogatory about the state because they're part of the state. They are the state. They're in cahoots with them. They print fancy stories about people running for governor, John Rose. They forget about the part that he groomed his 17-year-old now wife when she was 17, gave her a scholarship, had authority over her. They won't print that. And they'll interview him on Channel 10. That's kind of pathetic, isn't it? And I've offered to interview, and they won't do that about me. They put out fake lies. So the other thing that's been in the news is the helicopter and airplane crashes. They are reporting a lot of those. And if you'll think about it, it's because it's on the top of the news cycle. Anything that's on the top of the news cycle, when something happens again, even though it's always happened, it's not nothing new or really that much newsworthy, then it continues to get reported. The incident that started it was an incident in Washington where a major airplane with a commercial airplane with a lot of passengers, over 60, was struck by a military helicopter, and over 60 people were killed, which is horrific. That happens every now and then, unfortunate. And that put helicopter crashes and airplane crashes on the top of the news cycle. although if you'll think about it, they happen all the time. It's not really nothing unusual. I can think of a helicopter crash that happened in Nashville, or excuse me, an airplane crash that happened in Nashville right off the interstate. It closed the interstate for a while. It wasn't heavily reported. And I can think of helicopter crashes around, airplane crashes around where I live that have happened in the Tennessee River. And they happen all the time. They don't get on the top of the news cycle because of the major incident they've got on the top of the news cycle. So I think airplane and helicopter flights are safe. They're not any less safe than they have always been. They're safer than driving from here to Memphis in a car. You stand a better chance on an airplane than you do in a car, mainly because there's more cars on the road, but they're safe. Airplane, helicopter flights are relatively safe. There's nothing completely safe. They're reported a lot now because they're on the top of the news cycle. So what I'm saying is that we need to get on top of the news cycle with Power to You the People campaign and get reported. Now the news is not going to do that. It doesn't matter what happens, how many Tennesseans get killed because of inept administration, the Tennessee government, and they are getting killed every day on the roads in Tennessee because of an inept governor and promoting people that do not take care of the safety of Tennesseans on the highways. And that should be on the top of the news cycle, but it's not going to be on the top of the news cycle. It should be. Every wreck involving a drunk driver where somebody's family member is killed should be on the top of the news cycle. And the government ineptness should be on the top of the news cycle every single day, because there's so much of it and horrific major incidents happen. Why isn't it on the top of the news cycle? The reason why it's not on the top of the news cycle is because they are the government. They're the propaganda machines for the government. And they're not going to be on the top of the news cycle until we put so much pressure on them that they have to cover it. And they have been covering some of the protests here lately. And we need to get Power to You the People on top of the news cycle. And it's not going to be on the top of their news cycle, at least not right now, because they're intentionally blocking us. But we can go and get it on the top of the news cycle by Facebook Live, by YouTube, by TikTok, by you forwarding all these videos. And for all I care, you can make your own. Power to You the People, and encourage people to vote and support Charles Van Morgan in the effort to give you back your power. And you can tell them however you want to that we're here for you. We're here to make your vote count. We're not for the politicians. Power to You the People, not the politicians. And get on the top of the underground news cycle. There is one. You know, the major news channels aren't the news anymore. YouTube channels and TikTok and Facebook are the news, and Truth Social, Gab. A lot of these are the real news because the people are so aware of the fake and fictitious stuff that the news channels put out. So they're not the real news anymore. They don't have control like they used to with modern technology. With a cell phone, anybody can put out real news live on the spot, and we're not controlled by being blocked by the media. But I'm telling you, we're being blocked by the media because you can tell what trash they put out about me. If they're putting trash out about somebody, it's probably because they don't want you to listen to them. So the real story is not the fact they won't interview me. They'll interview John Rose. The real story is that they won't interview me, not that I'm getting an interview. They'll interview him, sure, because he's their buddy. He's on their team. So we need to get on top of the news channel, on top of the news cycle, our underground news cycle. The way we can do that is friends calling friends. Contact all and tell them this movement rising up, this social movement rising up. And I know about social movements. I have an education in sociology, so I know exactly what I'm doing. That takes a lot of work and effort, but I'm not a novice. I'm learning as we go along, but I've got an education. I've sat down and studied the literature, read the books about social movements. I know a little bit about them. I have a master's level education in that. I'm not like members of the Highway Patrol that have no education. I mean, don't you think if you're over the Highway Patrol, a major or a colonel, that you should have an education in that? I'm not saying that should be the sole reason you get promoted, but that should be minimum qualifications that you should have some point in your life sat down, read some books about public safety, read some information, looked at the literature, pro and con about everything, studied this stuff, took some time, read some books, had some instruction on it about areas that people know about, that they've lived, and studied that in a formal classroom setting and got a degree, so that at least you have this base knowledge. And that's not the only qualification, but you look at the supervisors in the Highway Patrol, they have none of that. They have no qualifications to be in the positions that they're in. Isn't that very alarming? They're over your safety. You pay them to protect you, and they haven't even taken the time to train, to learn what the hell they're doing. And I'm just telling you, I'm trying to start this social movement, and people can mock and say, oh, that's kind of funny, all this. I've sat down, studied the literature, read the books, taken tests about what I'm telling you about, and I know about social movements. I know how to start them, and this is how you start them. You get people standing up for right and fighting these people. I learned a lot from the civil rights movement. And you don't quit, and you tell the truth. So I'm very well educated, very well qualified. What I need you all to do is spread the message. The message is power to you, the people, not the politicians. And call your friends, contact all, and tell them about this rogue government. I've never had any problem selling the ideal, and I don't even have to sell it, that the government is corrupt. We need to stop this. We need to stop this takeover, this invasion of our rights by the government. I tell people out on the street about how corrupt the government is, and they look at me sometimes like I'm stupid. It's like, you don't think we know that? They already know that. It's kind of a running joke to them, although it's not funny. I stood out in front of the Knox County Courthouse just over a month ago, passing out flyers about people in the courthouse, corrupt judges, and at least I've got the fortitude and the nerve and the bravery to do that. It's perfectly protected by the Constitution, but sometimes the Constitution is just stepped all over. But I was passing out flyers, and people, I asked them at first, I said, when people walked by, I said, would you like some information about your local courthouse? And of course, the information was truthful and against people in public office. And some people said yes, some people said no. But then I changed what I said. My introduction changed to, would you like some information about your crooked local courthouse? And when I said that, almost everyone took it. It increased it because they know. They want to hear about somebody trying to do something about your local crooked courthouse, your local crooked government. They know what's crooked. So one of the first things about a social movement, a political movement, is if you have to sell the movement, people don't understand what you're doing, that's a major hurdle to overcome. We're not selling anything. We are telling people what they already know and offering to extend our help, our hand to help them to straighten out this corrupt government and put it in their favor. Let them run the show. And you don't have to be in front of me. I'll dodge the bullets. I'm the son of a widow, the only son of a widow from Knoxville, Tennessee. I know what to do. I know how to stand up to bullies. You punch them in the face, so to speak. So I know what I'm doing. If you want to charge them up front, go ahead. If you're good at that too, that's fine. If you want to walk beside me, that's fine. If you want to follow up from behind, let us protect you, that's cool too. We just need your help. We need you to share the message. Contact all. Now the last thing on nightly news, Unbridled, Charles Van Morgan, is they have a hit list out against you, the people in government, and I'm going through a list. I may add some. I may take some away. I'm not unethical or unfair or unmoving. If some people straighten out their act, I'll be glad to take them off the list and tell what they're doing good. Let me give you a hint. It's unlikely. I'm given the opportunity before we, so to speak, bomb them. Not really, but we're gonna we're going to hammer them with the truth. The First Amendment's a real thing. We're not backing down from the First Amendment. I don't care what you say, Putin, I mean Tennessee government, if you see what I'm saying. But, so, people are coming in, come on in. So, the last is the people that have a hit list, that have a hit out against you. They're a danger to you and the public, and we're going to go through their names, and as we have been, tell you who they are and what they're doing that's wrong to you. The next one on the list is Michael Turdley. Excuse me, I got that wrong. Michael Turley. Yeah, I call him Michael Turdley. Now, he is a sergeant with the Tennessee Highway Patrol right now. Imagine that. The most inept, most dangerous people to you get promoted. So he was in about 2008, 2009. He was one of the troopers that wrote a letter with Derek Watson. There's still hope for Derek, I'm not sure. And Kimberly Ogle, getting a felon out of a crime. She stole money from people in Sevier County, thousands and thousands of dollars. They wrote a letter to the judge helping her get out of her crime using the Tennessee Highway Patrol name. They were troopers. And of course the judge, he don't want to get speeding tickets, and they will give you speeding tickets if you go against them. They will target you. There's targeting in the Highway Patrol. I've been targeted by law enforcement, but you see me backing down, I'm not going to. I know how to fight intelligently. You know, I'm not charging into gunfire, but I'm not afraid of these people. They're not to be afraid of. They're afraid of us. But he wrote a letter. That lady was letting out of a crime, giving a sweetheart deal. And then she went later on and did the same damn thing. She paid for a Sweet 16 party, elaborate Sweet 16 party, spent thousands and thousands of dollars for her child, and stole more money from the public after they got her out of a crime. Now that's been swept under the rug. That's one of the first things he got on the radar for. A hit list against you, damaging the public. They can steal from you, and the Highway Patrol will use their name members, Michael Turdley, to get them out of crimes. Next thing he did, he brags about hitting people with his flashlight when he was a state trooper. He likes to, they wear body cameras now. Back then they had them on the patrol cars, and what they did is, and he would train people this way too, you get them out of camera view. You know, the camera in the patrol car is stationary, and you get them out of camera view. You park the car where it don't pick it up, and if they run from you, especially, you run away from the camera. So if you're running from a trooper because they're trying to hurt you, stay inside the camera view. Don't run from the camera. That's your protection. Of course, they'll manipulate that, but because they manipulate the evidence, they will give it out and delete parts, and it's a real crooked organization. But also film yourself. Try to have the camera on it yourself, and don't let them know you're filming it, because they'll bust the camera like they've done on me. But he bragged about beating people over the head with his flashlight. He went too far one day and beat somebody so bad that they had to suspend him. Now, they should have fired him. He violated somebody's constitutional rights, and they suspended him and sent him to a mental counselor, because he was friends with Kimberly Ogle, who owns half of Sevierville, and their family probably contributes to the political campaign of the Republicans and the Democrats. They don't care who's in power. They just want somebody in power that will take care of them. There's an airplane right there. So yeah, it's not crashing. But also, he, like me, he wrecked a patrol car, but it wasn't exactly like me. I wrecked a patrol car because I was in pursuit of a guy that tried to run over me. I was outside my car and had to run toward my car, and a county deputy was right behind him, and so I was trying to catch up to the guy, the county deputy, to back him up, because the guy was very dangerous. So I was driving faster than I would have to try to protect that deputy who had pulled up on my stop and protected me. And I drove off the road and damaged the car. I wasn't hurt. Nobody was hurt. And they suspended me. So yeah, they gave me 2 days off. And Mike Turdley, who's friends with Kimberly Ogle, he was in a pursuit of a speeder. And no one, they was trying to back up or anything like my situation where it was important for me to try to back up the other county deputy, which ended up being fine. But he wasn't trying to back up nobody or nothing, just trying to catch up to a speeder. Simple thing you do every day, not nothing new or exciting. And he went off the road and landed in somebody's yard, and he even hurt himself, had to go to the hospital. And they didn't even suspend him that I know of. Kimberly Ogle, his supervisor, was on the scene, interviewed by the news, and she said there was something wrong with the car. There wasn't anything wrong with the car. He drove off the road. He wasn't paying attention to what he was doing. And he might end up in a yard in your front yard because they won't discipline him. But he also goes to a lot of the football games on the sidelines. And I think everyone he's been to, they've lost. He's a bad influence on them. So yeah, he's doesn't get along with his supervisors. There's a supervisor named Kevin Smith, and he's a veteran of the war in Operation Desert Storm. Really good guy. And you won't meet a nicer, better trooper than him. I used to work for him, but Mike Turley couldn't even get along with him. He was jealous because he didn't get promoted over a military veteran that served in war, and he doesn't have any. Mike Turley never served in the war, but he thought he should have been promoted over Kevin Smith, and he got into it with him. He even transferred off his shift because he was so jealous of Kevin Smith. But don't worry, later on, and now Mike Turley is a sergeant with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. So very dangerous, and he's very dangerous to y'all. Rarely does he ever arrest a drunk driver. Very difficult and dangerous to get along with. KPD even was bragging, Knoxville Police Department. Not all of them are bad, but members of the Knoxville Police Department told me about him that he chased a car up on 75 and the car flipped over. And a suspect was hanging from the window of the car upside down. And they said, you know, aren't you going to help him? And Mike Turley said, no, that ambulance is on the way. He'll be fine. He's literally hanging from the roof of a car. I mean, can you not lend a hand? I mean, it doesn't matter who they are. Treat them with dignity and respect. So very dangerous to you. So that's the hit list. They have a hit list against you. I don't have a hit list against them, but I'm just saying they have a hit out against Tennesseans. They're very dangerous to you. So we're going to sign off. This is Charles Van Morgan, Unbridled News. I'll tell you what the news won't say. They haven't stopped us yet. And let's get on the top of the underground news cycle, like the airplane crashes, except we're not going to cause any damage to anybody. But let's get people reporting on us, on power to you, the people, not the politicians. And the way you can do that is contact all. Friends calling friends, ask them to call their friends, and contact everyone and ask them to contact everyone. Forward this Facebook Live post, nightly news with Charles Van Morgan Unbridled. Go to our YouTube channel and listen to our videos. Like and subscribe to the channel, and also our TikTok channel. And also we got a Square link where you can donate to Power to You the People. It buys campaign flowers that you've seen us just passing out. We're working. We're out here working. We're not stopping. We're gaining ground. And if you donate to that Square, it'll help us buy ink. It'll help us buy fuel to travel to different cities like we are now. And it'll help us get the message out. And we'll meet with you all and tell you what we're doing and ask you all for input, what you want the government to do, and we'll follow your will. It's your government. So thank you all. For God so loved the world that he sent his son, and we love you all too. God bless you all. Good night.